And mainstream New Testament scholars, they regard the four Gospels as historically reliable biographies, right? Because they were written within 65 years of the events they portray while witnesses were still alive. And that is gold in ancient literature and writing, because uh, it passes the test that these accounts of Jesus' life, they were not just made up later on, and they were not just nobody just sort of made Jesus into a god later on. Like, it was from the very beginning, because they wrote early. They wrote early as a few months after the crucifixion. They wrote of Jesus and of the events that are contained in his life, in his earthly life, and his death and his resurrection. So they wrote early concerning him, and that's huge. That's huge in the when it comes to ancient texts and ancient literature. And also, there are multiple copies of New Testament manuscripts. It's far more than any other trusted ancient literature. They wrote early, and the manuscripts, which, of course, in those days, um, the material that they wrote on, it it couldn't last for hundreds and thousands of years. So they had to write, and then they had to copy what was written onto another manuscript and keep that going, and they did that all the way up until the 15th century, when when the printing press was invented. And and then they were able to take what was written on those manuscripts, and to write it in a complete Bible. Amen. Old Testament and New Testament. But these complete manuscripts, New Testament manuscripts, all the books of the New Testament contained in these manuscripts, they were written. There are over 25,000 of these complete manuscripts, and it's far more than any other trusted ancient literature. And the differences in these manuscripts are so minute, they are so small, that it doesn't, at any time, it doesn't change the meaning of the texts. It doesn't change what is written in the message of what is written in the text. The differences are just like little things like commas and apostrophes. I think exclamation marks. Sorry, it's all of these things. They are so little, the differences between all of these manuscripts, which were written over a large period of time by different scribes who wrote these men who recorded these manuscripts. And yet there's such little difference that if you look at each one, you can see that it says the same thing. It's not that there was like one person wrote and then the next person there was major differences in the text. There was no major difference in any of these multiple manuscripts. And so we have a proven textual evidence, and it's what scholars refer to as textual criticism. And the New Testament manuscripts, they pass the test of textual criticism. Amen. These things are tongue twisting, but the New Testament texts, they pass the test of textual criticism because of how close they were to the original, close in time to the original events and when they took place. And so, and even Paul's letters, some were written within 20 years of the crucifixion. Amen. 20 years of the crucifixion. And they support details about Jesus, which were mentioned in the Gospels, such as the communion sayings, Jesus' death, his burial, his resurrection, and even his post-resurrection appearances. And the creed, I told you about the creed which Paul refers to in Corinthians.